So now the question originally was, what is polar reasoning and where did it come from? And as I was hypothesizing, it came from the evolution of splitting, the final splitting of what is the logical, how we measure the world in logical terms, and what is the abstract. The written word being the abstract form of human language. My contention is both mathematics and the written word are one object. They are language. It's the ability for us to communicate, quantify, and spread ideas to each other, and this is how we do it. Polar reasoning came about because we no longer taught these two as one object. We taught them as separate individual things. So now what we started to do, we started to separate things. There's love and hate. There's gravity and force. There's the past. And there's the future. I butchered the word future there. Something like future. We start to break apart the world into polar topics so that we can understand them. This is how we're trained now. We're not trained where love is one thing. Love only exists because hate's there. If people see that as negative and that as positive, it's a separation in degree. But we see it as two different things. This continues all through our problem solving. Polar reasoning stems from the severing of the written word of language from the literal mathematical value language used to be. Polar reasoning drives everything today. The biggest impact it has is that many things, like what we call love, aren't actually two things. Love and hate don't actually exist. The ancient Greeks used to think love was a mental illness, just so everyone's aware of that fact. It was a point of a terrible thing, and Cupid was an evil and demonic creature when he grabbed a hold of you. We celebrate love these days because of the romanticism of it. It is so great to feel a polar energy. I want to feel pluses just every day, walking around and just this positive attitude, pulling in all this positive energy. Love, 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 love. Oh my God, it's so fantastic. You know, it's seen in all of our behaviors. What I'd like to call human interactions as a bond. A bond being the object as a whole. Now, we'll get into singular virtue systems later and how they interact with people through non-polar good and bad systems. But what we're talking about is one item, the bond. That is what singular reasoning sees between two human beings. Singular reasoning does not see it as a polar love to hate. In this system, love can only exist when measured against hate. This is the most corrupt and crooked way to value something. I love you so much only because I do not hate you. And at the same time, as our poets say, well, to quote Sublime, fucking and fighting is all one and the same. Love and hate is the same object. People live in relationships where they're of polar values, bouncing back and forth from position to position in the relationships. At one moment, I hate you because you will not be as I need you to be or want you to be. The next minute, I love you when we are in sync for a balance system that is beneficial to, most of the time, one person. This is not what human interaction and bonding is in singular reasoning and in truth. This is an abomination. Love to hate. Love can only exist because of hate. This will move into theologies as well, and we'll leave that on a pause for now. Let that understand and soak in, because everyone's mind right now is just probably, who is this idiot screaming there's no such thing as love? But what there is there's a connection from a 0 point to a 0 point. And there's an energy that flows from that connection. And how you interact with that energy, leaving that connection, leaving that 0 point, is where you will find love, is where you will find virtue. Again, we'll get more into that at a later time. Polar reasoning moves out of our emotional problem solving and moves into very, very complex systems like time. Time is a monster of a subject matter. So we're going to jump into that in the next episode, and we'll dive into that quagmire. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and all this information can be found at singularreasoning.com.